Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality back here with you today to go over something that has once again kind of come up as a thing, which is race swapping of characters in movies or TV shows, or in this case happens to be Magic the Gathering cards. Now, I have this page up here specifically just to show the image, not because it's a change.org thing, which I had no idea even existed, for this particular thing, the Magic the Gathering, canceling it until now. And no, I'm not going to sign this because I don't really care that much. But for everybody that doesn't know, Magic the Gathering is a role-playing card game. Never played it myself. I didn't really know anybody, in fact, that actually played it, but there you go. And Aragorn is a Lord of the Rings character. So Magic the Gathering is using the Lord of the Rings property, to play the role-playing game. And Aragorn, as you can see here, as epitomized by Viggo Mortensen from the Lord of the Rings films from 20 years ago, is very clearly a white man. And in this card game, Wizards of the Coast, who is the company that makes Magic the Gathering cards, decided to turn him black for reasons, okay? And this was something that we've known for probably 6 months or maybe a little more than that at this point that they were going to do this. But it just kind of came back to light because there was a video very recently that came out of a grown man crying over the fact that he was now able to see himself, he's black, represented in Lord of the Rings because Aragorn is now being shown as black. Excuse me. And I hate arguments like this because I always feel like the people that are coming from this crying guy's direction are the people that don't seem to understand that just you don't relate to people based on the color of their skin. And if you do, well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's a word they have for that. It starts with an R and ends with acist, so you may want to check that out. But I hate the argument as well because I'm someone, given my background, that someone that represents me, and yes, I'm white, but I'm a white middle-class suburban Jew. We're not hugely represented in movies. Like, in fact, I'm even trying to think of a character right now in any movie that's a white middle-class suburban Jew. And I really am having a difficult time with that, But these folks, like this guy, think that that's the only way you could relate to someone. So for me, for example, if I was just watch a movie that's like, say, Menace to Society or Juice, Black Panther, Boys in the Hood, something that is a largely black cast, Meteor Man, go with that one, that I just would not be able to enjoy these movies because I can't relate to anybody in them, which is an utterly asinine thing to think. You have to be a special kind of stupid to think that. Because the thing is, people do not relate to skin color. They relate to characteristics. It's quite literally like when you were a kid, your parents telling you I gotta get that saying right. Don't judge a book by its cover. And what you folks on the far left, like this guy, are doing is explicitly judging a book by its cover. Okay? Now, what if Magic the Gathering decided to make this Aragorn character just the biggest asshole there could possibly be? Are you still going to be like, oh yeah, I could totally relate to this guy because he just looks like me. He's a complete prick, but I like him because he looks like me. That means you're shallow as hell. Okay? But I go to think about the movie Boys in the Hood, which is probably in no more than my top 10 or 20 movies that I've ever seen. It's a fantastic movie. It's a hard movie to watch because it's very emblematic of real things going on right now. And even, 30 years ago when that movie came out in the early 90s, I think it was 91 or 92, somewhere in that area. And according to this guy, I should have watched that movie and at the end just been like, yeah, I don't get it, and just moved on with my life. Like, no one looks like me. I don't know why I should care. And that's just not what happened. I've in that movie, there's at least 3 different characters that I could relate to at some level in the movie. And that's why you care about those characters in the movie. You care about Trey, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character, because he's the moral center of the show. And he was the one that was most like me growing up. Kid who was a decent student who occasionally hung out with the bad kids, maybe got into some mischief, never killed anybody. But, stuff like that, but was able at various times to be like, regardless of the peer pressure, say, this is wrong, I shouldn't do that, I'm gonna bugger off now. I can relate to different points also with Ice Cube's character, not because, with Doughboy, that's Ice Cube's character, not because of his gang activity, but because, especially the part when, his brother is killed. And even though they had a pretty fractious relationship, when he finds his brother's dead body, 30-year-old spoilers here, people, he's legitimately upset, and he decides he's going to seek retribution for that. And, I don't have a brother, I have a sister, and I know if something like that was to happen to her, which God forbid it actually does, and I don't think it ever will, I'd probably feel the same way. And then there's also Ricky's character, who is Doughboy's brother, played by Morris Chestnut. And he's the superstar of the family, and he gets cruelly gunned down and right in front of Trey. And right before Doughboy shows up, because Doughboy kind of has an idea of what's happening. And I can even relate to him at points in the movie, even though I was never a superstar athlete. But, getting treated as more of, I hate to say this, but the favored child, if you will. So I can relate to that as well. So, I mean, there's different characteristics. You don't need to relate to every single character in every movie all the way through, because people are spectrums. There's going to be things that people do that you like and don't like, okay? But you still need to have enough of a moral center with a character to go, yeah, I agree with that. That's very much something I'm in line with, and that's why you're geared towards those characters. But if all you're doing is looking at someone and going, I don't like them, or I can't relate to this because of what they look like, you're the problem. It's not the people complaining about you saying that. It's you. You're the problem. You're the person that has the issue. Okay? And I know another YouTuber, everyone probably, at least in the circles I run in, knows exactly who this is. It's youngrippa, better known as ericjuly, who is a fantastic pop culture commentator. Go subscribe to his channel if you're not. But on Twitter, he got into a bit of a row with this guy and some of this guy's fans, I guess, because this guy that I was talking about at the very beginning that was crying over finally seeing representation, Eric commented on it, basically laughed at the guy, which I think is the right response. Is, again, a grown-ass man crying about finally feeling represented in Lord of the Rings. And another dude happened to mention to Eric on his Twitter, someone that's in our circle said, like, yeah, that guy said on his TikTok for everybody to go, like, brigade Eric with hate, essentially, just to, like, go after him, to swarm him because of what he said. And Eric didn't say anything that was out of line. It was basically just, dude, this is a very superficial thing. And this brings up another point to me that I've heard, at least Yellow Flash, who's another someone in our culture or pop culture circles, if you don't know who that is, one of the earliest people that I was subscribed to on YouTube when I started following everything. Again, great pop culture commentator. That's what he does. Eric's more of a politics pop culture thing, saying his first name like I've met the guy. I don't know him. But Flash is pretty much exclusively pop culture, and if politics get in there, he'll talk about it. But in any case, I'm getting off topic. But Flash said something that really stuck with me about this entire thing, which was, if you don't see yourself represented, then how can you call yourself a fan of it? Like, why are you still watching it? Why are you still dealing with it? Or with this whole thing? Like, why are you still a thing? Like, if I was to watch something and I was like, I can't relate to any character in this, and and then 30 years later, I mean, this guy that was talking is probably at least in his 20s or 30s, but it's like decades later, all of a sudden someone looks like me. I'm like, oh, now I'm into it because of this. It's like, were you really a fan of it at all? Like, why are you still following a project that you can't seem to relate to? Like, I don't get that. Like, if it was me, I'd be like, I can't relate to this. I'm out. That would be the end of it. Like, I wouldn't be like, I'm still going to watch every movie and read the books, even though I can't relate to anybody. So this guy has a self-defeating argument. He clearly can relate to characters in this story in Lord of the Rings because he keeps coming back to it. So there's something there. And you can't, and you can't tell me it's because of skin color, because nobody in Lord of the Rings, at least that's in the movies that we saw with those characters, is black. There's no prominent black characters or no prominent minority characters in Lord of the Rings, and that's specifically because of the period of time and the area of the world that it's based on, which is a very specific time and place, basically medieval England. Like, I think it was King Arthur time or something like that. I could be wrong. I'm not a Lord of the Rings nut or anything, but I just wanted to bring this up because this is an argument that just annoys the hell out of me, because it doesn't seem to have any real rhyme or substance to it, other than we want to take characters that are not minority characters and make them minority characters because we can't seem to find any minority characters of our own to tell stories on, even though there's probably hundreds of thousands at minimum stories that could be told with minority characters and things like that. But let's just not do that. Let's just keep replacing all the ones that everybody knows because, reasons and stuff. So that's what I have to say. Hope you liked the video. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye.